Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. This is the full interview of Robert Moyer and Rich Jamison from episode 3 of the Cool Down Lap. We only were able to show a small segment of the interview for episode 3, but here's the full conversation of these two. Go to the timestamp on screen, 29 minutes and 44 seconds.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cool Down Lap podcast here with Rich Jamison of WSSR and the driver of the 86 car. I do believe you're in a Ford. Correct me, I'm not. But welcome to the podcast, man.
Course. Yep, definitely in a Ford Mustang. I've been a Ford guy all my life, so yeah, was an easy choice.
Oh, very easy choice. Yeah, I'm a Toyota guy myself, so it's very easy to pick, inside the game, basically what you run unless you get on a team. But yeah, so
Right.
Welcome to, the episode number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it's Rich Jamison, driver of the 86, runs every Saturday night with WSSR, and he's looking pretty good. Has some up and downs races so far this season here, but overall in general, he's plugging away at it and he's doing the best that he can, to get there. But Rich, give us a little bit of feedback on yourself, who you are, and different things that you like, and little information. And right before we started this podcast, I asked you about that thing right there in the back of the ground, and you gave me me a little bit of a detail on that. So if you don't mind sharing that to all the viewers out here, we do much appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. First off, thanks for inviting me there, Robert. This is pretty cool for me. But yeah, so this sign back here it says Opa's Pit Crew. And what you can't see behind the seat or behind my head is established in 2008. My daughter had given me a Father's Day gift a couple years ago, and I'm a grandfather. And in Germany, they refer to them as Opa. And my first grandson was born in Germany in 2008. I have 5 grandkids, so she gave me that. She knows I do this racing thing, and so she gave me that as a Father's Day gift. And it was actually just the metal piece. That's actually some iron metal thing. I put it on the board and all that, and lit it up and stuff, just actually earlier this year, and finished that up. So it looks good on my stream, and I just thought it was, I like having it back there, so everybody knows I'm an Opa.
There you go. So how many grandkids do you have then? 5, you said, right?
I do have 5,
And,
ranging 15 to 9.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're right with me, man. Right with me. I know how it feels. I got. I'd have to count with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, like 7. So
yeah.
I got to count. I don't got enough of a finger. I run out of fingers now, man. So eventually you tell the grandkids, you got to slow down a little bit here.
Just a little, yeah. But I've got 2 sons.
Okay.
In their 20s, so there could be more in the future. But right now, it's just all with the daughter at the moment.
Oh, there you go. So you said you got 5. So what are they? 3 boys, 2 boys? What do you have?
So Sean is the oldest. Melina is the first granddaughter, second child. Then Nico, second grandson, and then Kimberly and Ziva are all the grandkids there.
Oh, that's an interesting name, Ziva.
Ziva, yeah.
I've never heard that.
My daughter had a thing. Yeah. She had a thing for names and stuff, and she picked some really good ones. They're all really cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Hey, talk to your daughter next time. Tell her Bravo's on that one, because that's I don't want to say oddball name, but I don't hear that.
No, it's definitely unique.
Yes, most definitely. All right. Well, hey, just a little bit, about your racing career. We talked about your grandkids and everything. So congratulations to that, to you and your wife, and all that stuff. But I'm looking in the background here on your stuff, man, and I see 2 racing wheels. I see a decal on your wall. I see it looks like maybe you have 3 monitors, maybe, I'm assuming.
I do have triple monitors.
You got an eye flag up there. I mean, you were decked out, man.
Well, this didn't happen overnight. I've been doing this a long time, and it didn't start out like this. My first real wheel, if you will, was a Microsoft Sidewinder.
Oh my!
If you remember those?
Yeah, I had one. I had one, black one.
Yep, I still have mine. It's actually in the closet.
Oh, really? I actually just threw mine away.
I just can't get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, back. So if you know when the Sidewinder came out,
Mhm.
that was back in the original NASCAR racing games with Papyrus and all that stuff, and that's really what got me kind of where I started with all this. I was stationed at Robins Air Force Base in Georgia. I did 24 years in the Air Force, retired in 2011, and my neighbor, when we moved to Georgia, was a NASCAR fan. I was a NASCAR fan, and he was into this online racing thing, this game called NASCAR Racing, and he got me hooked. And I've been with him ever since. I've done all the titles all the way through NASCAR Racing 2003, and then of course all the Project Wildfire mods and all that kind of stuff.
My goodness.
And right. Did all that stuff, and then I had signed up for this email list for this thing called First. Most people in iRacing have probably heard of it, but it was kind of the Dave Kamer, the Boston John Henry kind of got together. They got the code of NASCAR Racing 2003 from Papyrus, that whole story there.
Yep.
And they started First, and I said, well, this could be something. Let me sign up and just so I know when they come up with something.
Right.
So was it early 2008? I was in Germany at this time, stationed at Ramstein Air Base there in Germany. And I got an email from First asking if I wanted to be a beta tester for this new thing they had coming out called iRacing. I was like, yeah, I do. So signed up. And so I was a beta tester for a short period of time before they went public later in 2008. So I thought that was really cool, and some of the stuff we got to do is really neat. I'm guessing the statute of limitations has run out, so it's okay for me to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you had to sign paperwork, all that kind of stuff.
I'm assuming that's the way going.
Yeah. So I started with iRacing since then, and I haven't left. I've just been here the whole time.
Wow. So did you actually do some beta testing with them?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
I think it was probably around 2 or 3 months before they went public and released it to everybody. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was back when I think the main car then was the what's it called? The small one. I can't think of the name of the car. I can see it in my head, but I can't think of the name. But those first couple cars, the Legends.
Yeah, okay.
The Legends.
Right.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And just that stuff. And I just thought this was so cool what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that really sold me on them and what they were going to do is when I first started signing up and I signed all the paperwork and all that stuff, and I tried to sign in and it asked for my address. Well, my address was either my German address because I lived off base, or I could use my military mailing address. Well, the military mailing address didn't work. So I sent them an email and said, hey, I'm having these problems, blah, blah, blah. Probably 20 minutes later, I get a phone call at my house in Germany. And it was somebody from iRacing wanting to work with the problem with me about my address and getting signed up and getting my account created. And I was like, wow, this dude's in the States, calls me in Germany on my home phone just to fix a small problem like that. These guys probably have the right idea about what they're trying to do.
Right.
And just ever since, I've just been so impressed and kind of, of course, getting a little glimpse about the background once you're in that program and kind of understanding what they do and how they do it, getting a little glimpse there, I thought was really cool. And and I just love the product that they keep putting out. The whole service itself, I just think is cool. And it's fun. It's just plain fun.
Yeah. And well, if you're a race, just a general race car driver or, in real life or sim. Yeah. I mean, to me personally, I've been down that road, Rich, to, back in NASCAR 2003 days, Papyrus. I actually, downloaded all them mods. Back in the day, I used to have, called Hosting Freaks, and I used to host websites, and I host 5 of the biggest NASCAR painting sites and NASCAR 2003 Papyrus sites. And so nice. That kind of all died when that was back then when Facebook wasn't Facebook yet. And I'm sure anybody that's going to watch this, maybe you even remember, Rich, MySpace. Remember
I remember my daughter being on MySpace. Okay. I was never, but I remember my daughter.
That was when MySpace was the thing before CBS bought MySpace and tried to make it the next big thing. But that's when Facebook was just starting up, and they were just getting traction. And I didn't want to leave a platform and go to a new platform because I was like, well, I'm so used to MySpace. This is cool. This is what I want to, I'm going to hang out here. You can't teach old dogs new tricks, basically. But my wife, which back then was my girlfriend, she went over and started messing with it, and I was just watching her do her thing, and I was like, okay, I'll jump ship and I'll go to my Facebook. So that's when I found iRacing, people posting pictures, things like that. But at that time, I was leaving NASCAR 2003 and going to R Factor. You used to have a mod with R Factor called Stock Car Evolution. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's a NASCAR.
I think I have, yeah.
Well, I have. I helped beta test that a lot.
Sweet.
A lot. Like, I know the latitudes of tires and physics and you name it. I used to spend 6 hours driving around, like change two numbers, 00.2 to 00.4, and drive 80 laps and see what it did to the tire. And after that, you're like, well, it didn't do nothing. Okay, well, let's go 00.8. And then you go another 80 laps. Well, that didn't do nothing, or it made it worse, or made it good.
That's a lot of time.
I'll tell you, a lot of beta testing. But I did that for like 7 years, and I got an email from iRacing. I signed up for the little short term 3 months because they still back then they haven't changed it from today until what it was back then. And I signed up, and it was a free trial for 2 weeks. Again, can't teach old dogs new tricks. So I didn't want to leave a game that I played for 7 years and go to something new. But, everybody's in this big hype of this iRacing thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Well, wasn't my thing. Really, it wasn't. Then I got an email probably about a year later, and I don't even know what year it was, but a year later asking me to join iRacing for $1 for a whole year, $1. And I'm like,
oh wow.
What's $1, right? I mean,
I never got that deal.
I don't know if anybody else did, but I did.
No,
and I was
I
like,
imagine not too many people did.
So I signed up. Yeah, it's only $1, not knowing that if I'm going to race it or not. Well, the more I played with it, the more I fell in love with it, the more I liked it, the more the graphics were better, the more this, the more that, and it just led to the next thing. And then, make the story short is here we are now, I'm 14, 15 years into it now, somewhere around there. So I missed a couple years of iRacing, but I've been with them basically from the start too. So
nice. There's a few folks that have been since the beginning or before the beginning, so to speak, but not too many. I guess the biggest influx was, of course, during COVID and things like that. But man, it's been really cool to see how it's grown as a service. And some of the things that they've been able to do, some of the motor racing things. For me, I never really watched like GT3 racing or IMSA or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're like me too. I was all oval NASCAR.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But now since I could drive them in here in the service, supercars, another one I love.
Okay. Yeah.
So now I go find those things. I go try to find a YouTube channel or some videos or watch the races now for those other forms of motorsports and not just ovals anymore. So, I imagine a lot of people end up doing the same thing. So I think iRacing has been a good thing for a lot of organizations, racing organizations that they've been able to partner with and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I'm right with you on that. I'm right with you on that there. So anyway, so before we get on to like a little bit of next subject, like we were talking about in the background, what wheels do you got there? I see a couple, well, you got a wheel on your wheelbase there, and then you got two hanging on the wall.
So for the longest time, I had a G29, G27, G25s, all those, right?
Yeah.
And I kept hearing about the direct drives, but they were all so expensive. So and I heard about Fanatec's direct drive and how they were coming out. I said, well, as soon as one of these direct drive wheels comes within my price range, I'm jumping on it. Well, when Fanatec came out with their 8 nanometer or Newton meter direct drive wheel, I jumped on it. And I went through all kinds of iterations. So I got the NASCAR rim, of course. This was the one I used for supercars and Porsche Cup. And then
Okay.
this I use for, the F1 style or any of the cars. I try to use the wheel that's in the vehicle.
Right.
So so I just have just these three and I try to use them whenever. But yeah, mostly it's this one, especially on WSSR night, of course. This is the cup car and most of the ovals that I drive, I use this.
Nice.
And I have V3 pedals, the inverted kind down at my feet.
Okay.
Love the load cell, made a huge difference. So yeah, but it's just kind of these wheels and stuff kind of only came within the last year. Last year is when I really started buying this stuff, when they came out with this direct drive and all that stuff.
Okay.
Just slowly adding, trying different things, moving around and just trying to find something that works. And right now I've got the stuff that I like and I'm pretty much done spending money on gear.
So you say.
Well, for this year anyway.
Right. Well, this year, wow, you got a long ways to go and not spend no money. I don't know, man. You might not be able to make it to the end of the year.
You're probably right.
We got 9 more months yet here to go. There's got to be
at the end of the year.
You're right. There'll be some. I'll have to do a follow up on a podcast and be like, "What you spend?"
Yeah, there you go. you may next podcast. You may see me in a rig.
Wow, the motion sensor.
That would be the next step. Yeah. And I've been looking. I'm just trying to hold off on buying.
Oh, that would be so sick. Yeah. So yeah.
But that's a huge price tag.
Yeah. So we were talking. That's cool that you got your setup there and everything, and working on that. But you're also talking about you have your own stream. You do your own stream. POV version and everything, I guess, on Twitch, I'm assuming. Now, granted, I haven't had time to go. I don't watch a lot of things. I haven't had time to literally go check your channel out, so I do apologize. One day, hopefully, maybe I'll get there. But what's the name of the channel? And we'll get it in the link in the description when this video comes up.
Cool, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's Rich_Jamison, Jamison, 86.
Okay.
On Twitch. Every Saturday when I'm doing WSSR, I'm up on the stream. Sometimes during the week, if I'm home during the week, where I put some races in, but really that hasn't happened lately. So Saturday evenings during the WSSR League race, that's the most consistent time you'll find me on Twitch.
Okay. So mostly Saturday night then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, speaking of, WSSR, they are, rolling along in their season here. You're having some good races, and you're also having some bad races.
Yes.
How's your season going so far that you feel right now? And what do you think you could improve on, to maybe get to that next step, at least to get into the top 5, or are you not that type of driver where you just go out, you're having fun, things happen, it is what it is, and you move on. As you get a top 5, yay, it's a win to you, one of those,
Yeah. So I'd love to be up front, top 5 with those guys that are consistently up there all the time. And I do what I can. I've been with the service for a while. I got some decent equipment now. And I'm one of those guys that needs the equipment to help overcome some other inadequacies in my driving, if you will, right? Some guys can just look at stuff and drive and be fine and be good. Others, like myself, just need a little bit extra help with the equipment. So I think I'm there. Really, I think the thing that would put me in that realm of top 5s with those guys is just more practice and track time. And unfortunately with my work, I just don't have that. So most times I get home from a business trip on a Friday night. Saturday, I'm up doing stuff, with the house that needed to be tended during the week, spending time with the wife. And, I'm usually jumping on the practice session just before the race airs. And that's really the only laps I get at most of these tracks, unfortunately. Now this week we're going to Motegi, and I've been home, so I have been able to put some practice in. So I'm hoping that that's going to put me a little closer to the front. But like you said, sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
and I have made some mistakes on my own as well. The road course we were just at not too long ago. Same kind of, that was the deal. I just made a couple too many mistakes. I think I can do it pretty well, but I just made a couple of mistakes that put me farther back than I wanted to. I think I could have got a top 10 out of there. I think I finished P13 in that one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of there, but it's just track time for me. It's just the track time. and I think I could be up there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I see it too. Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, seat time is so huge, and you know, when you're working all week, and you know, a lot of people just don't have that time, you know, to put in like you really want to. You know, I'm one of them people too, Rich. You know, I've done it for, you know, in the same boat as you. You do it for so long. You race these tracks so many times. You comes to the point where maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but you come comfortable where you feel you don't have to practice because you're like, I know the layout, I know the car, I know what I know what to do, but that doesn't that doesn't put you to the next step. That, you know, tire wear, you know, things like that, which is it's a big thing here now in iRacing, as they're playing with the new you know, tire model and everything. So yeah, I'm right with you on that, man, and I'm sure you'd want to get, you know, more practice in.
Yeah, you know, and you think when you do the practice, or when you get the opportunity to practice, you go out and you do your laps, and you think you're feeling pretty good, and then you show up for the race and you see these guys that are putting down much faster laps. And you're like, well, okay, I got to get to the next level, and that's one of the things I like about WSSR is there's folks faster than me.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps me trying to push myself to be up with them. But there's also folks that I'm faster than, and so I can still get decent finishes out of it, even though I'm not top 5 yet.
Oh yeah, and you learn from the faster guys too. You know,
Absolutely,
you really have to. You know, I've always had a saying: you can't be perfect, but you can be better. You know.
Better and consistent, I think, helps as well.
Right. Agreed. So, you know, with saying that, you know, as we're rolling through the season and everything, and talking about iRacing, I always ask everybody this, so it's kind of another same question that they heard on the last podcast. But what favorite car do you like on iRacing? Like, what's your niche? Like, what is it that, you know, you like?
So, you know, the NASCAR Cup car next gen right now is you know, the fun car. It's the one I'm most comfortable with.
Okay.
But I do enjoy the V8 supercars.
Oh,
those things are such a blast to drive. And what sold me on getting that and buying the car in the service was the engine sound. I listened to some videos or whatever on YouTube about other people driving them in the service. And I was like, man, that is badass. I need to be in that thing. And then you watch the real world videos and of the things, and now they got their new vehicle out. So I can't wait for iRacing to get the new version of, you know, supercars in the service, because I'll be, you know, take my money kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say the V8 supercars, although I don't get to drive it as much as I'd like. So right now I do a lot of the GT3 or Porsche Cup if I'm not doing ovals.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're starting to sound too much like me, Rich. It's kind of getting scary because I'm the type. They came out with the Ferrari, and I bought it. Why? Because I love the engine sound.
Yes.
I don't even want to drive the car, except just go around, drive the car, and hear the engine sound. I could care less about anything else. It's just I like the engine sound, and you know. So yeah, take my money for engine sounds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime I drive the supercar, whether it's a practice or something, I'll sit back before I get out of the game. I'll put the replay on and just watch my car go around just so I can listen to it.
Listen to it. Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. You know, so, you know, my next question to you is, you know, growing up, like, watching NASCAR, what got you into racing? What was it? Your dad, your mom, and your dad? You know, what made you get into in general racing?
You know, my dad was a carpenter, so he was always on jobs. Nothing racing related at all.
Oh wow!
Nobody in my family was racing related. But I do remember that Daytona 500 that got televised on CBS, where they were fighting at the last lap, you know, because they wrecked each other. That famous one that kind of opened up NASCAR to the world.
Right.
I watched that.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. And then I was into just cars in general from that point. Smokey and the Bandit, you know, all those movies back then with the car chases and stuff. And we had a go-kart. My brother and I had a go-kart way back then. We just, you know, going around the neighborhood a little bit. Just, you know, and the speed that I felt in that go-kart first was, I fell in love with it. And it's just ever since then I've been interested in cars and building cars and engines and understanding how they worked. I did models all the time, little car models, and I did the visible V8 model. I built that, so I understood how an engine actually works, all that, but way back when. And it just started there and just never stopped.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. So growing up, as you got into your teenager years, did you, wind up with some hot rods or anything that you?
Well, I wouldn't say hot rods in my teenagers. I was into truck. My dad became a truck driver after he finished carpentry, so we got into big rigs and stuff like that. But I had pickup truck. I had a Ford F-150, and one of the first things I did when I bought it used was pull the engine and rebuild it, just because
Nice.
there was nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to do it, and I had a blast doing that.
Nice.
And so, and then of course, through high school, that was the truck I had. I joined the military. I sold that to my brother, and I had other vehicles throughout the years. But right now, I have a 2007 Mustang convertible. That's the first hot rod, if you will, car that I bought brand new. And I actually bought it while I was in Germany, so I got to take it on the Autobahn quite a bit.
Oh, how's that? Give us a little detail on that, man.
Man, the Autobahn is amazing. And when they say there's no speed limit, there are places on the Autobahn where there are no speed limits. And there's other places where there are speed limits, they're pretty high. So, and I remember going to a drag race they had in Germany at I think it was in Berlin. It was some old airfield that wasn't an airfield anymore, or it was amazing to me. They had one of the taxiways set up as a quarter-mile drag strip. They had the timing lights and everything, but they weren't permanently mounted. They were kind of set off to the side, measured out and all that stuff. And what was funny is they would send the cars down, but they didn't have a return road. So everybody that raced had to go down there and wait until their class was done. And then they'd all kind of, stroll on back to the start line and, get ready for the next class in between and stuff. So, but that was cool back, for me at that point. I drove my Mustang to that. That never raced it there. And I'm kicking myself these days because Nürburgring. Never. I could have gone probably once or twice if I had known about it, but I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
But I could have gone and had a blast there. I know, in that car.
Oh man!
And it wasn't until iRacing put it in the service, I'm like, I was there. I could have done that, and missed an opportunity there. But Germany was amazing, especially having a Mustang because there weren't many of those there.
Mm-hmm.
Having American car like that, big American car like that.
Yeah,
and it was fun. 110, 120, easy.
Nice. That's cool, man. Growing up, I was a Mustang fan.
Awesome.
A fan of the 5.0s. Growing up in my teenager years.
Yeah, mine's got the 4.6. So, but one day I'll swap it.
I remember when the government made them get away from the 5.0s. They said they were too fast. People were killing themselves with them, and that's when I think they went to the 4.9s or 4. Well, I can't remember. Maybe it is what you have now. I know they went a tier down to try to slow the car down. And look, that musclehead guys, you can put whatever you want and do whatever. They're going to make it go faster.
They'll find a way. Absolutely.
It didn't matter. They put it and make it a 5.5. So that's basically
that guy
what
that
I
got me
did.
into NASCAR racing back then in Georgia. He had a 5.0 coupe with a convertible.
No.
Yeah. So
my
really
boss
cool.
has a white one and he won't let me drive it. I don't know why. I don't know why, but trust me, I'll bring it back. I mean,
in one piece.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, right?
Yeah, so I mean that's cool. That's cool, man. So my next question to you is here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rich Jamison, the 86, the Ford Mustang at WSSR every Saturday night. Make sure you tune in and root him on. And like I said, he's got his own little point of view stream that he has. you heard it earlier, and we'll put it down with the link in description so you could be able to go out there, give him a follow, and watch some of his content that he puts out there. But speaking of, yeah, no problem, man. Speaking of content, here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, do you watch any of your do you go back and watch anything and try to take away what was good and what was bad on our broadcast at Freaky Fast, or are you the type that's like, what's done is done?
No, I definitely go back and watch it. Not only, just to see how the rest of the race unfolded, because, especially if I'm not a front or if I don't know what happened somewhere on the track,
right.
I'll go back just to watch that. And, of course, they're a little bit selfish to try to see, where I show up on the broadcast and stuff like that. But overall, I try to get an idea of what the guys that are always up front, what their strategies are, what they're doing, to get those good finishes up front, and maybe how I could learn from that for sure. But I always go back and watch it after, if not that night, the next morning.
Yeah. Well, I think the next thing you do is before you go back and watch it, to take one of them front runners out of Vincent Sora that's was dominated, like he's just on another world right now. Just wreck him.
Yep.
So Vincent, if you watch this, watch out for the 86. If he hits you, it's because of me. I'll take blame.
I don't think I could. I mean, Vincent's been doing really good, obviously. Fast dude. And rather than wreck him, I'd rather be as good as him. And that's what I'm striving for.
There you go. I agree with that 100%, man. 100%. Yeah. So, do you have any Freaky Fast favorite moments? From the seasons that we've been covering you, like for this season 6 or last season, or is there anything that we put you on the broadcast and went, well, that was stupid, or hey, that was cool?
Well, I do remember I did get a poll once. I think it was last year at Charlotte, if I remember correctly. Or it was either last year, or the season before.
I think
I got a poll at Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I promptly gave that up on lap 1 coming out of turn 2. So I clipped the apron a little bit, got a little loose, and I think it was Aaron Kralik was on the outside, and of course he took it from there, and I never got it back. So that was probably the one thing I do recall from your broadcast regarding me.
Oh, I'm sure
I did get a poll once.
Maybe Sam will go back here after he does this, and he'll find that race and clip it out and put it in there right beside, as he'll show a little highlight of you going, "Hey, I got the pole," and well, I couldn't even
promptly handed it away.
You couldn't even lead one lap.
No. I keep trying. I'll get another one, and I'll get some laps led. I have led a couple laps in different times. I think Daytona, I've led some laps there, of course. I wouldn't say it's easy, but if any place that anybody has a shot at leading laps, it's like Daytona and those kinds of super speedway tracks. Right. So I did get my share, a couple there. So that was pretty cool being up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm with you on that, man. That's cool. So with really, we're getting down to the end of it. But outside of racing, what's your favorite hobbies? Like, do you got another hobby that you do, or is it focused just on your racing, or is there stuff that you and your wife like to do?
Well, outside of the iRacing stuff and just motorsports in general, I do like the outdoors. I like to stay healthy, and I do like working with my hands. Okay. So a lot of times, this thing here that the symbols of the Opaz Pit Crew thing is on is actually a fold down table that I built. So I'll tool around in my garage with some stuff and build things. I built this shelf here, that this stuff is on. So I do like working with my hands. I do like being outdoors. I live in Tucson, Arizona. And so it's actually pretty warm out now.
Oh, okay.
So I do like being outdoors, although I don't get to go out as much around here as I'd like. And I do like to stay fit. So I do a lot of running. I try to eat healthy, try to get into weights, although that's not so easy with the travel that I do for work. But I try to maintain as much as I can, being as old of a dude as I am.
Right. So back to that now, because you caught my attention, that is a fold down table?
Yeah, so the white part there, you can see the hinge there now. But yeah, it just folds down, and the sign will be underneath. But if I want to do,
I see.
I have a YouTube channel as well, and if I want to demonstrate something, a lot of times I do stuff with the Fanatec gear that I've work on. I have a 3D printer, so I made some stuff, and I do
Oh,
YouTube videos about that kind of stuff as well. Uh, and I use the table for that, that filming of those videos and stuff like that. So I just kind of turn my chair around and
okay.
have the camera over there. I just use my phone, make
Oh.
videos about what I build or what I make, and hope people like it.
Well, that's very interesting, because now I got a question to you now, because now you really got my brain going, which could be very bad here. Could you make me a freaky fast sign? You got a 3D printer. Is there a way to any way to make a freaky fast sign that can have blue on the? Because I love that blue. Like I guess it looks blue to me, but maybe it's
It
white.
is blue.
Okay, yeah. I like the blue, as you know. Freaky fast is blue. That's like a neon
Sure
blue
enough.
that we like. But I've been looking online in like different places to get a sign that I want to put right back here somewhere,
Okay.
or somewhere over there, and have it
Yeah.
lit up freaky fast. But I don't trust them sites. I don't know. I just get that bad feeling.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. Let me see what I can do. If you want to send me like a good high quality graphic, and I'll see what I can do with that to print something out. And then it may have to be in a couple pieces. I'll have to figure that out. I'm still kind of a novice with this 3D printing stuff.
No, that's fine.
But I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool little project.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're more than willing to pay for your time, man. Time is
Yeah,
money.
we'll work
Money's
something
time. But yeah, that's cool. So with that being said, I know this is going to catch you probably a little off guard here, but is there any questions you have for me? And anything that you would like to ask, or been thinking about since past, or leading up to this?
So actually, as I was getting ready for this, I noticed your moniker, your icon here in Discord said you were the owner of Freaky Fast. How did that happen? How did you become the owner of Freaky Fast?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I told you the story about going from my stock car evolution R Factor to iRacing and everything. So when I was in R Factor, I owned a league. Okay, and been doing leagues for probably it was probably about 14 years. I did leagues. So I did leagues in NASCAR 2003, was a league owner, then went to R Factor, was a league owner, and then I moved over to iRacing. Well, the league fell apart, like, because they didn't want to shift from one platform to the other. And I'm like, after 7 years, I'm kind of, I got to do something new here. Like, and they started, iRacing started dragging me in with the more content, the more this, more that, the graphics, just things that they were doing really.
They're good like that.
Right. Interested me. And eventually things led to another one to another. So I was out looking for, a league and everything. And I couldn't find anything. So I thought, well, maybe start my league. I mean, because that's all I really know. I've always been a league owner. Like that's just something I've always did. So that's what I did. I started up, and it was called Racing Freaks. We raced every Saturday night, and we would pack 30 some drivers. But when we started Racing Freaks and iRacing, I always did like any other league does, open servers, trying to draw interest in. And the story's going to get funnier and funnier here, probably, because I know you're going to laugh, but that's when I found Zach Hall. Way back then. It was about 5-6 years ago, something like that. And Zach Hall came along, started racing in the league, and more people came along. And then I found Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson came along. Then Cedric Hunter came along. And then it was one after another. And before I knew it, them guys in the league itself were hanging out all the time, became friends. And
Nice.
that's how Cat 5 started. Not so much me, but they came up with the name. But if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't know each other. And I don't pat myself on the back. Them guys will laugh and probably post in the comments below, but they always say it's because of me. And okay, if it is what it is, I'm not the one that's told you to be friends. But it all worked out that way. And so we had a league Saturday night, and after probably about 4 years of doing it, finally I got burned out, and guys wanted, the league to be broadcasted. And I'm like, guys, we can get a broadcaster, but it costs a lot of money to do that. And back then, you know, I didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't shell that out to do that for the league. I don't know. I wanted to, but I couldn't. Right. So I basically handed the ship over to Zach and all of them, and they were running it just a little bit, and I'd broadcast our races. And Bob Skinner, which, you know, the number 82, he's the one that came up with Racing Freaks. He's the one that came up with, Racing Freaks,
Freaky
my
Fast.
wife came up with, but he came up with Freaky Fast name. Bob Skinner's the one that came up with that name, and we rolled with it. And I started broadcasting early, you know, Saturday nights by myself. You can go back and look at all the old clips on YouTube, which is hilarious. But that's where it all basically started, Richard. Started broadcasting a league, and before I knew it, one league, then I had another league contact me, then another one, then another one, then another one.
Nice.
And then I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Okay, this is, if I can't beat the guys, why don't I make money? Right?
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy that likes to put myself to that limit of, let me try to build something, or, you know, graphical wise, like, tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong. I don't care how long it takes me, but I will figure it out, and it might not look good, but I'm proud of myself that I figured out how to freaking do it. That's all I care about, you know, just do that. So I like to challenge, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's what I did. I took the challenge of knowing building graphics and doing things like that into it. And like I said, it all led to one thing after another. Well, Racing Freak shut down, and that, I don't even know what year it was, but it was probably about a year or two. It was shut down, and bing, bam, boom, WSSR started. That's where that all rolled into. And I know people say, you know, we're a bunch of friends, which we are, but we keep friendship and business separate. Okay, business is business, friendship is friendship. You don't let friendship run a business, or you're not going to have a business. So we just grew, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and now you see the content here. That this is what you see at Freaky Fast. We got Sam doing all the podcasts, clips and this and that. I'm starting to put shorts up for you guys on YouTube, Twitter. We got our own social media. Christopher, that takes care of all the social media. I don't touch a thing. He does all that.
Nice.
So we have a team, and we all build out. And again, you know, answer that question, which was a long spiel. That's how Racing Freak started.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. And you know, being in the league for even the short period of time I've been, you could tell, you know, there's some friendships, and you guys have known each other for a while and things like that.
Right.
But it's just cool to be a part of this. You know, I needed a league that ran Saturday nights that was fixed, and that was the Cup. And when I came across WSSR, I think it was Cedric I reached out to first, or somehow I forget how we came in contact. And yeah, it's just been really cool being here this whole time. And then, you know, with the broadcasts and stuff, you know, that's always nice to see, you know, tell family and friends about, if they want to see Opal race or something like that, they can tune in there.
Yeah, most definitely.
So cool.
Definitely. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add, or, you know?
No, it just, man, this has been so cool. I appreciate you invite me to do this. As soon as it gets put out there, I'll be sending links to people to let them tune into it.
Do you race in any other leagues, or it's just no? You actually don't.
I didn't
ask you, but what do you do for a living?
So
if it ain't my business, if not, it's fine. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I work for a worldwide two-way radio company. We install two-way radio systems for public safety all over the world.
Nice.
And I travel the country training technicians how the system works and how to work on it.
Wow.
Which is what I used to do before I became a teacher or a trainer.
Okay.
So I love the work. It just does keep me away from home during the week. So I can't. So that's why Saturdays is really the only consistent night of the week that I can routinely make a league race. So that was why and WSSR fits that, and it's been cool ever since.
Well, that's awesome, and congratulations on that job. It sounds like you love it a lot, and it's very interesting two-way. I know a little bit about what you're talking about, but the technology side of things, I don't. We would have to spiel for another hour and a half.
Sure. I love talking about it.
Yeah, and poor Sam would be like, I'm just cutting out the last half hour of this, so I'm not even going to listen to it. But yeah, so anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is Richard from WSSR, the driver of the Ford of the 86. Make sure you go and check him out on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and I hope the rest of your season, Richard, goes very, very well. And I hope to see you, eventually you keep plugging at it. You'll get there. Eventually you'll get a top 5, and maybe hopefully you get a pole, and hopefully you can get that win. I know when you get a win, you get that monkey off your back, and it just feels so good. Now, I raced 14 years in a league, never won a race. Now, yeah. So, yeah,
I'm doing it for the fun too, right?
That's where I'm the type of driver that I don't fight with people out in the track. I do get angry. Trust me, you can ask Zach and when I was a league owner, you make me mad. The old Robert would come out, and it wouldn't be so pretty. And I had to learn to back off. And Zach taught me, and the guys over there, they taught me a lot, how to calm down. But anyways, we're getting off subject again. Yeah, so the 86 of Richard, make sure you go check out his social media platform. You said you got a YouTube. What's the link to that one so we can plug that?
It's just Rich Jamison Racing.
Okay. On YouTube. Yeah. Make sure you go check that out. Give him a subscribe. Check out some of his content video, and I know he'd much appreciate it. And if there's anything else that you guys would like to see, here with WSSR on conversations, talking, answers, anything like that, put it down on the link in the comments down below. We read every single comment. And Richard, again, thank you, sir, for taking out your Saturday, your Friday night here, and spending 40, almost 50 minutes with me talking about your sim career and your life and your grandkids. And I wish you nothing but the best, buddy.
Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. And yeah, this has been fun. Enjoy talking about that stuff. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Not a problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace out. God bless. Love yous all.